It's time now for the Peter Chill 6 o'clock news on this Friday evening, September 4th, 2015. Good evening, everybody. I'm Peter Wiggins out here. 6 o'clock news at 9 0. Top story at 6 o'clock on this Friday evening here is in Big C, Hungary, stepping back from a confrontation with asylum seekers that drew condemnation from throughout Europe. Hungary will use buses to ferry thousands of migrants from Budapest to the border with Austria, senior government officials said. The bodies of drowned Syrian boy Alan Kurdi and members of his family have been buried in Kobane in Syria after being transported there from Turkey. Chinese Navy ships entered U.S. territorial waters off Alaska last week, coming within 12 miles of the coastline, multiple defense officials told CNN on Friday. The Kentucky court clerk who chose jail over issuing marriage license to same-sex couples remains unswayed by a night beyond bars, remains hopeful that a judge, the governor, or lawmakers will grant her exemption based on claims of religious beliefs. Washington, Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton said on Friday that she was sorry that your use of a personal email account while Secretary of State has caused confusion and blamed herself for not thinking a lot about the matter when she took. Damascus, Syria. 2 explosions went off Friday near a hospital in a province in southern Syria, killing a prominent anti-government cleric and late 7 others, pro-government media and activists said. Washington, Saudi Arabia is satisfied with U.S. President Barack Obama's assurance about the Iran nuclear deal and believes the agreement will contribute to security and stability in the Middle East, the country's foreign minister said on Friday. Democratic presidential hopeful Martin O'Malley on Friday called for the United States to welcome at least 65,000 Syrian refugees by the end of the next year, saying that the country's actions to date have fallen short of the values of a generous offer. Guatemala says protesters rallied against Guatemala's disgraced ex-president Otto Perez outside his court hearing on corruption allegations on Friday, 2 days before elections that have been upended by his resignation and jailing. The top Democrat of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee said he would offer legislation to reimpose sanctions should Iran break its part in the deal. Thousands of law enforcement officials stood at attention to form a wall Friday outside one of Houston's largest churches as a 21-gun salute followed by police helicopters were carried out in honor of a slain sheriff's deputy. Richard Rishi Jr., who gained notoriety during the 1980s and straight as a young flamboyant drug dealer known as White Boy Rick, won his bid for resentencing today. A former Florida A&M University band member was sentenced on Friday to 4 years in prison for his role in 2011 death of a drum major, an incident that casts a harsh spotlight on the culture of hazing at the public school in Tallahassee. The Department of Children and Families in Massachusetts failed to protect a 7-year-old boy who police said was being stalked by his father and who is now in a coma, according to the report released Friday. U.S. stock index has dropped more than 1% on Friday after a mixed August jobs report did little to quell investors' uncertainty about whether the Federal Reserve will increase interest rates this month. Emera Incorporated has reached an agreement to buy Teco Energy Incorporated for $6.5 billion in cash, a major move that will give Canadian utility $20 billion in assets and more than $2.4 million to 2.4 million electric and gas customers. Boise, Idaho. Federal nuclear officials want an Eastern Idaho committee to provide detailed information about how it determined a worker's level of radiation exposure after a mishap exposed the worker to an amount initially estimated to be the maximum. U.S. energy firms cut a surprisingly sharp 13 oil rigs this week, the first drop in 7 weeks, as a renewed slump in prices this summer forced drillers. Hey, looking at stock market report here. The Dow, 16,102.38, down 272.38 points. S&P 500, 1921.22, down 29.91 points. Nasdaq, 4,683.92, down 49.58 points. In May 2015, nearly half of all the saga is a critically endangered antelope that roams the steppe of Kazakhstan and died off. Exactly why is still a mystery. Climate change advocates at a conference in Bonn, Germany this week lamented the slow pace of crucial negotiations on how to curb global warming, but several leaders said they remain optimistic that a final deal is within reach. A researcher studying lions in Eastern and Southern Africa found a startling relationship between the availability of prey and the numbers of big cats. Outbreaks of leisure disease in New York, California, and Illinois have drawn attention to a bacterial disease that experts say has been on the rise in recent years. HIV prevention drug 100% effective, latest study suggests. It wasn't far, mere yards, but when Mark Pollock Wesley took his first steps in 4 years, it represented a major victory for scientists who won and work at the intersection of medical science and engineering. Workplace stress isn't just annoying, it's just bad for your health, as secondhand spoke according to a new study by researchers at Harvard Business School and Stanford University. Alright, looking at New England alerts here at 6:05. In Candia, New Hampshire, Route 27, Route 43 reported a trap in a motor vehicle crash. MA Raymond Fire Department within the jaws alive. Peter Challenge News Time, 6:05. Time now for a sports report. Boston Red Sox will be squaring off against the Philadelphia Phillies in the first of a 3-game series at Fenway Park, started at 7:10 p.m. tonight. The Philadelphia Eagles have agreed to trade former USC quarterback Matt Barkley to the Arizona Cardinals. The news was first reported in a tweet by Fox Sports' Jay Glazer. National Football League team owners are planning to reevaluate Commissioner Roger Goodell's role in player discipline after his Deflategate ruling was overturned by a federal judge, according to a report on Friday. Miami, the New York Mets intended to proceed with their Indians plan for Matt Harvey without allowing him to pitch in the postseason, ignoring a stricter cap that agent Scott Brass advocated would lead to a shutdown team, sources told ESPN. In North Massachusetts, the world's top 3 golfers each having a chance to claim the #1 ranking at TPC at Boston. Jason Day and Roy McIlroy started the Deutsche Bank Championship campaigns under par Friday here. As we're going to take a look at the latest Deutsche Bank results here. Brendan DeJong, 2 strokes ahead of Luke Donald and Ian Poulter, and Matt Jones and Cook Knox going into the first round of the Deutsche Bank Golf Championship. The latest in the U.S. Open 2015. It's Friday, and what better way to end the work week than a little U.S. Open action headlined by Serena Williams and Rafael Nadal in the primetime evening draw. A scary incident occurred during Thursday night's action in the U.S. Open, a match between Flavia Pineda and Monica Nicholas, a drone crashed in an empty seating section in Louis Armstrong Stadium. Serena Williams remains a clear favorite to win the 2015 U.S. Open. However, a new slew of early upsets present some unexpected opens for the rest of the field. Caroline Wozniacki spurned 4 match points as she crashed out to the U.S. Open second round in a final set tiebreak against Petra Setkosa. Peter Challenge News Time, 6:06 on this Friday evening here. It's time now for a travel report on this Labor Day, Friday before Labor Day, and Route 4 on the southbound side, so from 102 in the Exeter to North Kingstown, 295 on the southbound side, so for the Warwick stretch, 95 on the southbound side, so after Route 295 in Warwick, 146 on the southbound side, it is so from Route 15 to Route 95 in downtown Providence, 95 on the southbound side, so from Pawtucket all the way up to downtown Providence here, 95 on the northbound side, it's backed up from Amwells Avenue to downtown Providence here, 195 on the westbound side, so from Seacon all the way up to downtown Providence here. Due to some accidents in the Providence area, 1 accident on 95 northbound before the 6th tank connector, another accident on 95 northbound the Route 195, 195 westbound get an accident before Route 114 in the East Providence, so expect some delays, and 95 on the northbound side, slow before Route 10 in Cranston here. 195 on the eastbound side is slow through Bragger Bridge and Fall River here. Mount Hope Bridge on both ends slow. But the Jamestown and Newport bridges are looking good here. Out in the Cape, Route 20 on the southbound side of the Bourne Bridge, it's slow, but Sagamore Bridge is looking good, and Route 6 is looking good from Sagamore all the way up to Orleans here. 95 on the southbound side, it is slow from Route 1 in Sharon all the way out to North Attleboro here. Route 24 on the southbound side, it is slow from 495 all the way up to Route 44 in the Ram area here. 495 on the southbound side, so from 24 in Rain and Bridgewater all the way up to Route 495 and Route 44 in Middleborough here. Of Route 495 is sold from 24 in Raynham to Route 44 in Middleborough here. Route 3 on the southbound side, so from Hanover all the way down for Plymouth, doing an exit on Route 3 on the southbound side after exit 5 in Plymouth, so expect some delays here. 120 on the southbound side. Got some accidents here on 128 southbound side around Route 135 in Needham here. Southeast Express to the northbound side, so for the Dorchester stretch. Route 3 and southbound side, so from the Braintree split all the way out to Union Street doing an accident on Route 3 and southbound side and the Union Street in Braintree here. 120 and southbound side, so around Route 3 in Burlington here. 120 and the northbound side, so from Woburn all the way up in the Linfield here. 495 on the northbound side, it is slow from Littleton all the way up in April here. And we got 213 on the westbound side, get an accident after Route 495 and long, so expect some delays here. Route 2 on the westbound side, so for Fort Devens. 190 on the northbound side, it is slow for the Leominster stretch. Mass Pike on the westbound side, so from Grafton all the way to I-84 in Sturbridge on the westbound side. Eastbound in the Mass Pike, so from I-84 in Sturbridge to Charlton, doing an accident in Mass Pike in the eastbound side before I-84 in Charlton here. In the Sturbridge section here, Mass Pike on the westbound get an accident in Charlton here, and Mass Pike on the westbound side. Also slow from Grafton and Auburn here. 120 on the northbound side, get an accident before the Mass Pike here. Route 1 on the northbound side, a little slow for the Foxborough stretch. Up in New Hampshire, 93 on the northbound side, so from Salem, New Hampshire to Derry, New Hampshire. Route 3 on the northbound side of Devon Turnpike, so before Route 293 in Manchester, New Hampshire. 495 on the northbound side is so from Amesbury to Route 95 in Salisbury here. Route 93 on the northbound side, so from Hooks to Toll Plaza, all the way up to Route 393 in Cork, New Hampshire. 95 on the northbound side, so from Portsmouth, New Hampshire to Kittery, Maine here. And the main turnpike is looking good from York to Augusta via Portland here. Okay, looking at MBTA alerts here at 6:10 here. Freeman whistle lot. On the subway system here. On the MBTA. Civil on SL4 experiencing minor delays due to traffic. Civil on SL5 experiencing minor delays due to traffic here. Commuter rail. Freeman whistle line. Train 520, 4:40 p.m. for Worcester delayed today to heavy ridership due to Labor Day weekend. 45 to 50 minutes here. And the fares are looking good here. Parachel news time, 6:11, 10.5 fall. Weather report here, and it was a fantastic Ryan temp. It is a touch of fall as temperatures around the 70s here. Okay, 7-day forecast goes like this. Tonight, Pittsburgh up to 3 a.m. Most of the coast got about 50 degrees and north face with about 5 to 9 miles per coming in the evening here. Saturday, Pittsburgh before 9 a.m. Sun's got about 79 degrees and a lot of available wind becoming east around 6 miles per hour in the morning here. Saturday night, Pittsburgh up to 5 a.m. most of the coast got about 51 degrees and a lot of available wind. Sunday, Pittsburgh for 8 a.m. sun's got about 84 degrees and calm wind becoming southwest around 5 to 8 miles per hour in the afternoon. Sunday night, most coast got about 62 degrees and southwest about 6 miles an hour. Labor Day on Monday, sunny skies about 87 and about 66 degrees. Tuesday, sunny, most coast skies about 91 and about 68 degrees. Wednesday, most sunny skies on Wednesday have about 88 and about 68 degrees. Thursday, chance of showers, but sun and most skies got about 84 and about 64 degrees and chance of precipitation is 40%. And for Friday, chance of showers, but sun got about 78 degrees and chance of precipitation is 30%. North temperature at 6:12 p.m. 69 degrees with most skies, humidity 70%. And that is going to be it for the Peter Channel 6 o'clock news on September 4th, 2015 on a Friday. Pierce, you have a good evening. Goodbye today. To dear.